Good day, everyone. My name is Gerald Villarmino, and today I am presenting my capstone project titled Reframing Organic Chemistry Education, a unified framework integrating green chemistry, toxicology, systems thinking, and the global goals. This project was developed for the Green Chemistry for Climate and Sustainability Certificate program at the Yale School of the Environment. I want to begin with this project, like why it matters. For a long time, chemistry education has been excellent at teaching structure, reactivity, synthesis, and analysis. These are essential foundations of the discipline. However, chemistry has also been closely tied to industrial processes, material transformation, and the creation of new products. The challenge is that these chemical activities have often been taught with limited attention to their broader implications for sustainability, human health, environmental fate, and the long term impact. This connects with Professor Peter Mahaffey's point that many students experience chemistry as a fragmented knowledge rather than as a holistic and systems based science. So, the central question of my capstone is, how can we teach core chemistry while also helping students understand the real world consequences of chemical choices? Today, we already have a strong resources in green chemistry, systems thinking, chemical toxicology, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The problem is not the lack of resources. The problem is that these areas are often taught separately. Green chemistry may introduce in one module. Toxicology may appear only in laboratory safety. Systems thinking may be treated as a separate framework. The SDGs may be mentioned only as a broad sustainability context. But students often do not see how these ideas connect directly to the reagents, solvents, reactions, waste, hazards, and the end of life consequences they encounter in chemistry. This is the gap of my project that addresses the integration and operationalization gap. My capstone focuses on the purpose of unified framework that integrates green chemistry, chemical toxicology, systems thinking, and the UN SDGs into an organic chemistry education. The goal is not to replace the core chemistry. The goal is to keep the chemistry strong while expanding how students evaluate chemical decisions. So, green chemistry asks whether we can design reactions and materials to be less hazardous and less wasteful from the beginning. Chemical toxicology asks why a substance is hazardous and how its structure, exposure, persistence, and bioavailability influence harm. On the other hand, systems thinking asks what happens before, during, and after the experiment. Lastly, the SDGs connect these chemicals decision to broader human and environmental goals such as health, responsible consumption, quality education, and life below water. Together, the framework moves students from asking only, does the reaction work? To asking, is this reaction effective, safer by design, and responsible within a larger system? The added value of artificial intelligence is that it can help operationalize this framework. This capstone is not mainly about creating a user interface. It is about developing the content framework that an AI co-designer can use. For example, if a faculty member asks how to teach electronegativity, band polarity, and Bronson-Lowry theory in context, the AI should not only provide an example, it should explain why that example matters. Here, hydrochloric acid and organic acids are useful because they connect band polarity, proton donation, acid strength, corrosivity, exposure risk, and aquatic impact. So the AI becomes a co-designer that helps the faculty and students connect chemistry content with green chemistry, toxicology, systems thinking, and the SDG alignment. This slide shows how the framework can be embedded into an organic chemistry syllabus. The topic is electronegativity, band polarity, and Bronzed layer Lorry theory in context. Traditionally, this topic focuses on polarities, acid strength, and pKa. In my framework, these concepts remain central, but they are extended into sustainability relevant learning outcomes. The student evaluate how bond polarity influences acid strength and how acid strength connects to toxicological impacts on aquatic ecosystems. They model hydrochloric acid versus organic acid and map a simple life cycle, create a SOCME diagram, and justify safer alternatives using the 12 principles of green chemistry. In the lecture framework, I begin with electronegativity, or what I describe as the electron tug of war. Students first learn how electronegativity affects bond polarity. Then, they connect polarity to acid strength, pKa, solubility, hydrophobicity, and lipophilicity. This is important because these properties influence how chemicals move through biological and environmental systems. So, electronegativity is no longer just a structure concept. It becomes a starting point for understanding exposure, bioavailability, and environmental fate. For the teaching and learning activities, students compare hydrochloric acid with organic acids. They begin with Bronson-Lowry dissociation, then connect acid behavior to environmental context. They ask, what happens when acidic substances enter the water systems? How pH changes affect aquatic organisms? And why neutralization does not automatically mean no environmental impact. Tools such as BioWin can support discussion of biodegradation and chemical fate. The SOCME maps help the students to visualize the relationship among structure, acid strength, exposure, fate, human health, and aquatic impact in SDG 14. For assessment, students predict the pKa of a proposed green solvent and justify its safety using green chemistry principle. The important point is that students should not simply claim that something is greener. They must defend that the claim with evidence. They can use tools such as ECOSAR to examine the predicted aquatic toxicity and LC50 values. The skill being assessed is sustainable chemical reasoning, connecting structure to properties, properties to hazard, hazard to system impacts, and systems impact to design decisions. The laboratory counterpart is titration and pH measurement using bio-based indicators. Traditional titration focuses on analytical precision and endpoint detection. In this framework, students still learn precision, but they also ask what remains after the color change. The example here is replacing phenolphthalein with red cabbage indicator. The students compare performance, hazard, waste, accessibility, and educational value. This turns a familiar laboratory experiment to a small model of a greener analytical design. For the laboratory activities, students perform microscale titrations of household green cleaners, but they do not stop at pH or concentration. They also examine the chemicals in the cleaner, including surfactants, fractional use, human health categories, and possible degradation pathways. This helps students understand that a product labeled green still requires chemical evaluation. For the laboratory assessment, students need to calculate the E factor and propose benign by design alternative to traditional strong acid reagents. This matter because green chemistry is not just about replacing one chemical with another. The students must evaluate waste, function, hazard, feasibility, and trade-offs. Even bio-based materials must be assessed carefully. A bio-based route is not automatically greener if it creates higher impacts elsewhere. Now, this slide summarizes the syllabus framework. Traditional chemistry topics are retained, but they are expanded. Hydrochloric acid versus acetic acid becomes a lesson on pKa, solubility, and biouptake. Acid-base strength becomes connected to persistence in waterways and SDG 14. Titration endpoints become connected to E factor and indicator toxicity. Neutralization becomes connected to degradation and daughter products. The tools are not meant to overwhelm the students. They are scaffold that help the students ask better questions and justify greener choices more clearly. These are the three future directions. First, I plan to expand the framework across more organic chemistry topics and laboratory experiments. Second, the foundational framework must be refined so it can be adopted by faculty in a practical and flexible way. Third, the framework can be translated into an AI co-designer that supports the faculty and students through prompts, rationale, and sustainability aligned outputs. To conclude this capstone, that reframes organic chemistry education so students do not only learn how molecules react, but also why chemical choices matter. The future chemists or engineers should not only be trained to make things. The future professionals should be trained to design responsibly. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the Yale School of the Environment, to all the faculty and staff of this certificate program, and especially to Dr. Margaret and Dr. Predrag for their patience, guidance, and continued support. Thank you so much.